From thrown chairs that nearly injured cameramen to a World of Warcraft motorcycle that ended up in the game itself, American Chopper was far stranger behind the scenes than viewers ever imagined. The explosive family drama wasn't just for show, it included real espionage tactics, death hoaxes, and a pasta sauce company with one of the most memorable names in food history. These 15 bizarre facts reveal the motorcycle mayhem you never saw coming. Fact 1. Mike Rowe was an opera singer. Long before Mike Rowe became the familiar voice narrating the explosive arguments and motorcycle builds on American Chopper, he had dreams of performing on the world's most prestigious opera stages. The man who would later become famous for getting dirty on television actually spent years training his voice for classical performances, studying opera with the goal of making it his professional career. His rich baritone voice, which millions of viewers came to associate with reality television, was originally developed through rigorous vocal training and classical music education. When his opera aspirations didn't pan out as planned, Rowe found himself in an unexpected place that would prove crucial to his television career development. He landed a job at QVC, the home shopping network, where he spent his days selling everything from jewelry to kitchen gadgets to viewers across America. This experience taught him how to speak clearly and engagingly to camera, skills that would become invaluable when he transitioned into television hosting and narration work. Working at QVC also helped him develop the ability to make any product sound interesting and appealing, which translated perfectly to making reality television content compelling for audiences. The transition from opera training to home shopping to motorcycle show narration might seem random, but each step built the foundation for Rowe's distinctive television presence. His classical vocal training gave him the breath control and projection needed for long narration sessions, while his QVC experience taught him how to connect with audiences through a camera lens. When American Chopper needed a narrator who could capture both the technical aspects of motorcycle building and the family drama unfolding on screen, Rowe's unique combination of vocal skills and television experience made him the perfect choice for bringing the Toy Tool family story to life. Fact 2. The show almost featured a different shop. American Chopper almost never happened the way millions of viewers came to know it, because producer Craig Piligian was originally planning to film an entirely different motorcycle shop in New Hampshire instead of Orange County Choppers. The decision that would create one of reality television's most explosive family dramas came down to a single phone conversation that took place on a Tuesday night, literally hours before filming was scheduled to begin. Piligian had spent considerable time developing the concept around this New Hampshire shop, working out logistics and preparing for production to start the very next day. During what was supposed to be a final planning call with the New Hampshire shop owners, Piligian realized something was fundamentally wrong with his choice. In a 2013 interview with Forbes magazine, he explained that during this crucial conversation, he simply didn't feel that the shop owners had the right mindset for what he was trying to create. The chemistry and personality dynamics that would be essential for compelling television just weren't there. And Piligian made the bold decision to completely change course with less than 12 hours to spare. The next morning, Piligian woke up early and called Paul Toytool Sr. at Orange County Choppers, a shop he had been aware of but hadn't seriously considered as his primary focus. Within just 2 days of that desperate phone call, Piligian and his entire production crew were filming with the Toy Tool family in New York instead of New Hampshire. This last-minute switch meant that Paul Sr., Paul Jr., and Mikey Tool became household names purely by chance, while the New Hampshire shop owners never knew how close they came to reality television fame. The Discovery Channel wasn't even involved in this crucial decision, making it one of the most important snap judgments in reality television history. Fact 3. Mikey's pasta sauce had an unforgettable name. When Mikey Tool decided to venture into the food business in 2011, he created what might be the most memorably named pasta sauce company in television history by launching FarQ Products LLC, the youngest member of the Toy Tool family, who had provided comic relief throughout American Chopper's run. Partnered with a colleague known as Chef Angry Mike, to develop a line of gourmet pasta sauces that would showcase his love of cooking. While Mikey had always been interested in food and had shown his culinary skills on the show, nobody expected him to come up with such a boldly named business venture. The company's product line featured sauces with names that were just as attention-grabbing as the FarQ brand itself, with their signature offering being called Porcine Orgy Sausage Supreme. This particular sauce name perfectly captured the irreverent humor that Mikey had become known for during his time on American Chopper, where his playful personality often provided a much-needed break from the intense family conflicts between his father and brother. The sauces were available for online ordering and mail delivery, allowing fans of the show to literally taste a piece of the Toytool family's post-television ventures. Unfortunately for those curious about Mikey's culinary creations, the FarQ Products venture appears to have been relatively short-lived, with all the sauces eventually becoming listed as out of stock on their website. The business represented Mikey's attempt to capitalize on his television fame while pursuing his genuine passion for cooking, though the bold naming choices suggest he never lost the sense of humor that made him such a beloved character on the show. The FarQ Products saga stands as one of the more unusual business ventures to emerge from the American Chopper phenomenon. Fact 4. Paul Jr. built motorcycles for a video game. In what might be one of the most unexpected crossovers in entertainment history, Paul Toytool Jr. designed and built 2 custom motorcycles inspired by the massively popular online game World of Warcraft through a special web series called Azeroth Choppers that ran from April 17th to June 5th, 2014. Blizzard Entertainment, the company behind World of Warcraft, approached Paul Jr.'s design company to create motorcycles representing the game's 2 main factions, the Alliance and the Horde, in a project that would bridge the gap between fantasy gaming and real-world motorcycle craftsmanship. The 8-episode web series featured Paul Jr. leading 2 separate design teams, with guidance from Blizzard's creative development team including Chris Metzen and Sam Didier, who helped ensure the motorcycles captured the essence of their respective factions. Paul Jr., who admitted he wasn't familiar with World of Warcraft before being approached for the project, described it as the most challenging design work he had ever undertaken, saying it was the most work he had ever done in his entire life. Blizzard gave him unprecedented creative freedom for such a valuable brand, allowing him to make all the final design decisions while incorporating elements from the game's rich fantasy world. The project culminated in World of Warcraft players voting to determine which motorcycle design they preferred, with the Horde bike ultimately winning the competition. The winning design, called the Warlord's Death Wheel, was then added to the actual video game as a free mount that all Horde players could use with their characters. The losing Alliance design, known as the Champion's Treadblade, was also eventually added to the game, but required players to purchase it for 100,000 gold coins, making this one of the few times a reality television star's creations became permanent fixtures in a major video game. Fact 5. A chair almost killed a cameraman. The most famous argument in American Chopper history, where Paul Jr. threw a chair during a heated confrontation with his father, came dangerously close to seriously injuring one of the camera crew members who was filming the explosive scene. This particular fight, which occurred during Season 6 and later became an internet meme sensation, represented the boiling point of years of tension between Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. But what viewers didn't realize was how close the situation came to turning into a genuine workplace accident, rather than just dramatic television. When Paul Jr. reached his breaking point during the argument and grabbed the chair to hurl it across the Orange County Chopper's workshop, the trajectory of the flying furniture was headed directly toward one of the cameramen who was positioned to capture the confrontation from the best possible angle. The crew members' quick reflexes and instinctive reaction to pull back at the last possible moment were the only things that prevented what could have been a serious injury, as the chair passed through the exact space where he had been standing just moments before. This near-miss incident highlighted just how genuine and uncontrolled the family conflicts on American Chopper really were, despite what some viewers might have assumed about reality television being staged or scripted. The production team had to balance their desire to capture authentic family drama with the very real safety concerns that came with filming people who were genuinely angry and not always thinking about the cameras or crew around them. The chair-throwing moment became so iconic that it spawned countless memes years later, but the cameraman who nearly got hit probably remembers it more for the adrenaline rush of narrowly avoiding injury than for its eventual internet fame. Fact 6. The show inspired I Love Lucy. Producer Craig Piligian deliberately modeled American Chopper after the classic sitcom I Love Lucy, focusing on simple conflicts like Junior goes missing or Mikey doesn't show up, to create episodic storylines that would keep viewers engaged. In interviews, Piligian explained that after observing the natural family dynamics at Orange County Choppers, he realized that the show worked better as a relationship-driven comedy than as a straightforward motorcycle building program, leading him to structure episodes around basic interpersonal conflicts rather than complex technical processes. This sitcom approach meant that American Chopper episodes were built around simple log lines that could generate both drama and humor from everyday situations in the motorcycle shop. Piligian found that the most compelling television moments came not from the intricate details of motorcycle construction, but from the ways that Paul Sr., Paul Jr., and Mikey interacted with each other when faced with minor workplace challenges or family disagreements that could escalate into major confrontations. The I Love Lucy influence became particularly evident in how the show handled recurring character dynamics, with Paul Sr. playing the role of the exasperated authority figure, Paul Jr. as the creative but rebellious son, and Mikey as the well-meaning troublemaker who often found himself caught in the middle of family conflicts. This classic comedy structure allowed viewers to become invested in the personalities and relationships, rather than getting bogged down in technical explanations about motorcycle parts and assembly processes. By treating American Chopper as a family sitcom that happened to be set in a motorcycle shop, Piligian created a template that would influence countless other reality shows focused on family businesses and workplace dynamics, proving that authentic human relationships could be just as entertaining as any scripted comedy when filmed with the right approach and understanding of character development. Fact 7. Someone died at Paul Jr.'s new shop. A tragic workplace accident occurred at Paul Jr.'s new motorcycle design company just a few months after he opened Paul Jr. Designs in Rock Tavern, New York, when a 26-year-old contractor from the nearby town of Beacon fell through the roof of the building and died from his injuries. The incident happened while Paul Jr. was establishing his independent business following his departure from Orange County Choppers and his highly publicized split from his father, making it an especially difficult time for the younger Toy Tool as he tried to build his new company from the ground up. The contractor who lost his life was not an employee of Paul Jr. Designs, but had been hired by the building's owner to perform roof repair work on the facility that housed the new motorcycle shop. The man was working on the roof when the tragic accident occurred, falling through and sustaining fatal injuries that cast an immediate shadow over what should have been an exciting new chapter in Paul Jr.'s career. The timing of the incident was particularly heartbreaking, as it happened during a period when Paul Jr. was trying to prove himself as an independent designer and businessman separate from the family drama that had dominated his life on American Chopper. In a statement addressing the accident, Paul Jr. expressed his deep sorrow over the loss of life, saying that while he had never met the contractor personally, his deepest condolences and prayers went out to the man's family and friends during such a difficult time. Neither Paul Jr. nor any of his regular shop employees were present at the facility when the accident occurred, but the incident served as a sobering reminder of the real-world dangers that construction and repair workers face every day, even as Paul Jr. was trying to focus on building motorcycles and moving forward with his new business venture. Fact 8. The two Tulls couldn't film together for years. The family feud between Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. became so intense during the production of American Chopper Sr. versus Jr. that the show's opening sequence, which appeared to show both father and son together, was actually created through clever post-production editing, because the two men literally could not be in the same room at the same time. This behind-the-scenes reality revealed just how deep the rift had become between the Toy Tool family members, extending far beyond the heated arguments that viewers had witnessed during the original American Chopper series, and into a level of hostility that made normal television production nearly impossible. The production team had to resort to filming Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. separately for what would become the intro to Sr. versus Jr., then using digital editing techniques to make it appear as though they were sharing the same space. This technical workaround became necessary because the bad blood between father and son had reached such an extreme level that they couldn't tolerate being in each other's vicinity for even the brief time it would take to shoot a simple opening sequence. The situation became so complicated that Paul Sr. began actively monitoring the production team to ensure that crew members working at Orange County Choppers wouldn't have any contact with those filming at Paul Jr. Designs. The producers found themselves caught in the middle of this family war and had to develop what could only be described as espionage-style meeting tactics to coordinate between the two locations, without triggering Paul Sr.'s suspicions. He was reportedly concerned that if the production teams shared information between the shops, Paul Jr. might gain insights into what was happening at Orange County Choppers and use that knowledge to undermine his father's business, making the entire production process feel more like a covert operation than a television show about building motorcycles. Fact 9. Paul Sr. had a death hoax. In April of 2016, Paul Tutul Sr. became the target of an elaborate death hoax when a fake news website called Iron Demons published a completely fabricated story claiming that the American Chopper star had died in a motorcycle crash in Louisiana. The false report spread rapidly across social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook, causing genuine concern among fans of the show who believed they were reading legitimate news about the death of one of reality television's most recognizable personalities. The hoax was so convincing and widespread that it caught the attention of Snopes, the well-known fact-checking website that specializes in debunking false stories and urban legends that circulate on the internet. Snopes quickly investigated the claims and published an official debunking of the story as soon as the false report began gaining traction online. The fact-checkers confirmed that Paul Sr. was very much alive, and that no such motorcycle accident had occurred in Louisiana or anywhere else, but not before the fake story had already been shared thousands of times across various social media platforms. This type of celebrity death hoax has become increasingly common in the internet age, with many famous personalities from Hollywood and reality television finding themselves the subjects of false reports about their deaths. Paul Sr. joined a long list of celebrities who have had to deal with the strange experience of reading about their own supposed deaths online, a phenomenon that has become so frequent that many public figures now have to actively monitor social media to address false reports before they spread too widely. The Iron Demons website that published the original fake story was part of a broader trend of websites that create sensational false news stories designed to generate clicks and social media engagement, regardless of the emotional impact on the celebrities involved or their fans and family members. Fact 10. 2 video games were made and bombed. The popularity of American Chopper during its early seasons led to the creation of 2 video games that turned out to be spectacular commercial and critical failures, with both titles receiving harsh reviews from gaming critics who compared them unfavorably to low-budget knockoffs of popular action games, like Grand Theft Auto. The first game, simply titled American Chopper, was developed by Create Studios and published by Activision Value for PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC in November of 2004, followed by a sequel called American Chopper 2. Full Throttle that was released across multiple gaming platforms between November 2005 and August 2006. Both games featured the actual voices of Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. from the television show, but critics noted that the explosive family drama that made the TV series so compelling was replaced by what one reviewer described as monotone boredom in the video game versions. Instead of focusing on the motorcycle building aspects that fans might have expected from an American Chopper game, the titles were primarily racing games, with a surprisingly simplistic bike customization feature that felt like an afterthought rather than the main attraction. Gaming website GameSpot gave the first American Chopper game a particularly harsh review, stating that instead of taking inspiration from the show it was based on, the game appeared to be more inspired by Grand Theft Auto than anything else, and suggested that if players could imagine how bad a budget version of Grand Theft Auto would be, they could understand how disappointing American Chopper turned out to be. The reviewer criticized the choppy graphics, horrible controls, and stiff bike handling that made the gameplay experience frustrating rather than enjoyable. Despite featuring motorcycles from the actual TV series like the POW MIA bike and Mikey's Blues bike, the games failed to capture any of the charm or craftsmanship that made the television show appealing to millions of viewers. Fact 11. A DVD board game existed. Among the more unusual pieces of American Chopper merchandise was an official DVD board game that brought the Orange County Choppers experience into living rooms across America, complete with Mike Rowe serving as the host and guide for players who wanted to test their knowledge of the show while competing to build their own virtual motorcycles. The game was designed for 2 to 6 players ages 12 and up, making it accessible to families who enjoyed watching the show together and wanted to extend that experience beyond just viewing episodes on television. The DVD board game featured hundreds of different challenges, trivia questions, and video clips from the actual American Chopper series, allowing players to relive memorable moments from the show while competing against each other in various motorcycle building tasks and Orange County Choppers knowledge tests. Mike Rowe, who served as the narrator for the television series, reprised his role as the official voice of the game, providing commentary and guidance throughout the gameplay experience, just as he had done for the TV episodes. The game included commentary not only from Mike Rowe, but also from Paul Tutul Sr., Paul Tutul Jr., and other members of the Orange County Choppers team, giving players the feeling that they were actually inside the famous motorcycle shop, competing for the approval of the Toytool family. Each space on the game board corresponded with action happening on the DVD, and players had to answer questions correctly to earn bike parts across 6 different production stages in order to win the game. The complete package included the interactive DVD, a physical game board, player tokens, and detailed instructions that explained how to navigate through the various challenges and trivia sections. The game represented an attempt to capitalize on the show's popularity by creating an interactive experience that combined traditional board game mechanics with the multimedia capabilities of DVD technology, allowing fans to engage with their favorite reality series in a completely new way. Fact 12. Mikey opened an art gallery called Wolfgang. In November of 2010, while his father and brother were engaged in their bitter legal and business disputes, Mikey Toytool pursued his artistic passions by opening Wolfgang Gallery in Montgomery, New York, where he showcased his own paintings alongside works from other local artists. The gallery represented Mikey's attempt to step away from the motorcycle business and family drama that had dominated his life during the American Chopper years, allowing him to focus on the creative side of his personality that viewers had only glimpsed during his time on the reality show. Mikey had started painting in the summer of 2009 as a way to cope with the stress and find some peace of mind during the tumultuous period when his family was falling apart both personally and professionally. His artwork was described by fellow artists and critics as bold, daring, and creatively different, reflecting a raw and unrefined style that perfectly matched his unconventional personality from the television series. Wolfgang Gallery was designed to be open to the public and featured rotating monthly exhibitions from new artists, making it a legitimate cultural venue rather than just a vanity project for a reality television star. The gallery gave Mikey a platform to explain his artistic philosophy, and he often spoke about how painting provided him with endless possibilities from a blank canvas and helped him focus entirely on shapes and colors without having to think about the complicated family dynamics that had made his life so stressful. He believed that painting was extremely relaxing and thought everyone should try it, noting that his artwork was different because no matter how much he tried for excellence, He would never have a refined brushstroke, and that imperfection was actually what made his work unique. Unfortunately, Wolfgang Gallery was forced to close in June of 2013 due to declining sales, and Mikey made the decision to shut down the business so he could focus on his family relationships and personal health during a difficult time. Fact 13. Donald Trump got a gold motorcycle. Orange County Choppers created a spectacular custom gold motorcycle specifically for Donald Trump that was unveiled during an episode of American Chopper, Senior vs. Junior, with the billionaire businessman expressing enthusiastic approval for the luxurious chopper that perfectly matched his well-known preference for gold-plated everything. The connection between Trump and Paul Toytool Sr. had developed through Trump's reality show, The Celebrity Apprentice, where Paul Sr. was competing as a contestant, leading to discussions about creating a custom motorcycle that would reflect Trump's larger-than-life personality and taste for opulent displays of wealth. When Paul Sr. and his Orange County Choppers team presented the finished gold motorcycle to Trump during the televised episode, Trump was clearly impressed with the craftsmanship and attention to detail that had gone into creating the bike. He told Paul Sr. and the entire team that it was the best job they had ever done, praising the fact that the motorcycle was 100% American-made, which he said was exactly what he liked to see from American businesses and craftsmen. The timing of this motorcycle build was particularly interesting because it occurred during the period when Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. were still feuding and running competing motorcycle businesses, making Trump's endorsement especially valuable for Paul Sr.'s reputation and Orange County Choppers brand. Trump and Paul Sr. had reportedly struck up a friendship during the Celebrity Apprentice experience, with Trump even offering Paul Sr. some tough advice about how to handle the ongoing family conflict with his son. The gold motorcycle project represented exactly the kind of high-profile, luxury custom work that Orange County Choppers had built its reputation on, combining exceptional motorcycle engineering with the kind of flashy aesthetic that would appeal to a celebrity client who was known for surrounding himself with expensive and visually striking possessions that reflected his success and personal brand. Fact 14. The famous meme became a 2018 internet sensation. More than a decade after American Chopper originally aired, the explosive argument between Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. that featured the infamous chair-throwing incident experienced a completely unexpected second life when it became one of the most popular meme formats on the internet during March and April of 2018. Social media users discovered that frames from this particular father-son confrontation could be perfectly paired with poorly sized text to represent both sides of virtually any controversial argument, turning a genuine family conflict into a versatile template for online humor and political commentary. The meme format became so incredibly popular that certain Twitter posts featuring the American Chopper argument frames earned hundreds of thousands of retweets, introducing the Toytool family drama to an entirely new generation of internet users who may never have watched the original reality show. This viral phenomenon was particularly surprising, given that American Chopper had aired during what could be considered the pre-social media era, long before Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram had become the dominant forces in popular culture that they are today. When Paul Toytool Sr. was interviewed by Vice magazine in April of 2018 about this unexpected internet fame, he revealed just how disconnected he was from modern digital culture by admitting that he had never heard of memes before and had no idea what the internet phenomenon was all about. He explained that he wasn't very tech-savvy with phones and social media, saying that when people mentioned the meme to him, it completely went over his head, and he never even bothered to ask what they were talking about, because he didn't really care about social media platforms. The irony of Paul Sr.'s confusion about memes was that his genuine family conflict had become a perfect vehicle for internet users to express their own disagreements and debates, proving that authentic human drama can find new audiences and purposes in ways that the original participants never could have imagined. Fact 15. Paul Sr. started as a Vietnam War merchant marine. Before Paul Toytool Sr. became famous for building custom motorcycles and yelling at his sons on reality television, he served his country during the Vietnam War as a member of the United States Merchant Marines, a civilian maritime service that operates privately owned vessels but can be placed under government control during times of war and national emergency. This military experience provided Paul Sr. with his first exposure to serious metalworking and mechanical skills that would eventually become the foundation for his entire career in custom motorcycle manufacturing and the iron fabrication business that preceded Orange County choppers. The Merchant Marines played a crucial role during the Vietnam conflict by transporting military supplies, equipment, and personnel to support American forces in Southeast Asia, giving Paul Sr. hands-on experience with the kind of heavy-duty mechanical work and problem-solving skills that would later prove invaluable when he started working with metal fabrication and motorcycle construction. The discipline and work ethic that he developed during his service also shaped his approach to running a business and managing employees, though viewers of American Chopper might argue that his leadership style could be somewhat intense and demanding. After completing his service with the Merchant Marines, Paul Sr. returned to civilian life and eventually founded Orange County Iron Works, an iron fabrication business that became quite successful and provided him with years of additional experience working with metal, welding, and creating custom pieces for various industrial and commercial clients. This iron fabrication background was essential preparation for the transition into motorcycle building, as many of the same skills required for structural metalwork could be applied to creating the custom frames, components, and artistic elements that would make Orange County choppers famous. The combination of his military service and decades of experience in the iron fabrication industry gave Paul Sr. the technical expertise and business knowledge necessary to build motorcycles that were not only mechanically sound but also visually spectacular enough to attract celebrity clients and television producers.